Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod, here to talk about The Traitors, Season 4, Episode 7, titled The Black Banquet. Last episode on The Traitors, when Johnny's planned faithful coup fell through, a split vote left comedian Ron banished from the castle, and Alan tasked the Traitors with a murder in plain sight with the cursed amulet. Before I dive in, I put a link in the description to my playlist to catch up on my previous recaps. If you like the video, consider liking and subscribing, and watching along on Peacock. But let's dive into it. Players are getting ready and heading to the banquet. Jam Jam says he's not taking any drinks from anyone. Mora tinks something bad's about to happen. Players are dressed up. I loved these outfits. Need to do a special best dressed at banquets. There were a lot to choose from, but Lisa Rinna in this Eric Charlotte denim ruffle sailor dress, this was in a different lane from everyone else. The first player to touch Lisa's cursed amulet will be murdered. Colton tells Lisa, "You're killing me in that outfit." She says yes, but she decides killing Colton would be too obvious. Lisa is considering her targets as Jam Jam, who oogles her amulet, Natalie, and Kristen. Lisa yelps and tells one of them to fix her pin, but we don't see who touched it. Players are served a feast that looks dry as hell. They should be eating a juicy dinner, like that which would be served at medieval times. Candace loudly asks Lisa if she's feeling successful in life. Lisa confirms, signaling the murder is done. They go around saying nice things about each other, but are interrupted by Alan adorned in pearls, in an evolution from his gold and white outfit from last episode. Alan tells them the legend of the Black Dinner, where unsuspecting guests were served their own demise just before dessert, and tonight is a case of history repeating, revealing that the traitors have cursed one of them to death. But for the first time, there's hope. There are 2 vials of antidote. If one of the antidotes is drank by a cursed player, they'll be spared from death. The group has to decide who gets the antidote, which turns into them pointing out things that happened during dinner. Jam Jam whispers that Lisa kissed his cheek. Tara thinks it's suspicious that Dorinda served her turkey when she doesn't eat meat. They point out that Steven was playing with tarot cards, and Kristen's card came up. Natalie is just adamant that she wants the antidote. Kristen gets the first antidote, and Natalie and Tara run to get the other vial, but Natalie makes a big enough scene to get to drink the antidote. So Natalie and Kristen are safe, 2 of the 3 players that Lisa had allegedly maybe killed. But Alan reveals the player who was murdered was Jam Jam. On the way out, Jam Jam panickedly accuses Lisa of kissing him on the cheek, which isn't even how he was murdered, but is the right murderer. So we lose Jam Jam here, who came into the game hot, making accusations from day one, pointing out Donna being suspicious, and he goes on to have a rocky road throughout, having little tiffs with multiple players throughout, crying during that one challenge over the shield. The jury's out on if those tears were real or fake, but he was getting under people's skin, especially Mora and Tiffany, who were convinced that Jam Jam was a traitor. So I was convinced that he was going to be banished anyway in the next few rounds, but he's taken out of the game here in a more memorable way. I don't think this appearance was a good representation of him as a character. On Survivor, he was much more silly and funny, and here I think he was trying to make drama moments that just weren't landing for me. But I do look forward to him being back on Survivor one day. Following Jam Jam's banishment, Lisa is feeling the heat. She's still pissed at Rob, but tells us she's ready for what's to come. Flash forward to breakfast the next day, where the traitors are the first 3 to breakfast, giving them time to talk. Lisa fills Candace and Rob in on how she killed Jam Jam. Rob tells them he plans to lay back today. Lisa says Rob actually needs to do things now and work to help the traitors, saying she did all the work the day before and asks them both to help her in this next round, where she's going to be getting heat. Rob tells us that Lisa is basically a lost cause from Jam Jam's accusation, and if he tries to help her, he'll be screwed. Candace is doing a lot to defend Lisa to the faithfuls, and Lisa adamantly denies kissing Jam Jam. Steven tells us he's downplaying the tarot card sketchiness, hoping it'll just go away. When Colton brings up Lisa's kiss, Lisa calls Colton a dog with a bone since he won't let it go. Natalie apologizes to the group for strong-arming them into giving her the antidote. Lisa agrees that she strong-armed them. Enter Alan in an assortment of holiday plaids and a red beret, telling the group that Jam Jam is toast toast. When Alan leaves, Johnny and Mark whisper about Natalie, agreeing they need to start considering her. Candace is rolling with it, also telling people that Natalie's a traitor. Before I move on, best dressed at breakfast, 2-in-1 episode, I'm giving it to Lisa. I love this green leather jacket. Even sweetie Tara is telling Natalie to her face she thinks Natalie is suspicious. Enter Lisa, who asks Natalie why she cared so much to get the antidote. Natalie slips up, saying, "We have been murdering the gamers." That dreaded we. Lisa tells us, "Thank you, Jesus." Now she's got some ammo against Natalie, who did say we. Elsewhere, Rob tells the faithfuls that Jam Jam had no reason to lie about the kiss, further being a driver in the anti-Lisa campaign. While heading to their daily challenge, in one car, Johnny says he's suspicious of Colton, Lisa, and Natalie. And in another car, Lisa starts spreading that Natalie accidentally admitted to murdering monitoring the gamers. At their challenge, Alan has added feathers for wind protection. Players will race up a mountain, collecting gold and bringing it to the top of the Firish Monument. The top 6 players with the most gold at the end of the challenge will get to play for the power of the dagger, which will allow them to have an extra vote at one of the next 4 roundtables. So players get to running up the mountain, collecting gold, and stop at a checkpoint where they can throw some of the gold they've collected at the hanging urns. If they hit an urn, they get more gold, but if they miss, the gold that they threw will be lost. Rob and Colton spent a lot of time at this station, and as they're there, they agree they want to get the dagger and target Lisa. At the Firish Monument, they have to put their gold in a box with the player's name. Doesn't have to be their own box, but the top 6 players with the most gold will have a chance to get the dagger. Colton and Rob have the most gold from the checkpoint, and the housewives don't really have any. Lisa gives her measly rations to Steven. In the end, the top 6 players were Colton, Eric, Mark, Natalie, Rob, and Steven. But Rob had the most gold and will have an advantage when they play for the dagger. So the top 6 will do a little game for the dagger where Rob will be the guesser. The other 5 will secretly find out if they have the dagger on their tablets. Rob will interrogate all 5 of them, and if Rob can guess who has the dagger, he can steal it from that person. He questions them. Steven to me came across as lying, so that's who I would have picked, but Rob chooses Natalie and he's correct, stealing the dagger from Natalie. At this point, only Natalie and Rob know that he has the dagger. Players head back to the castle where Alan feeds Lala faithful bits. Can I pet that dog? Lisa again brings up that Natalie said we. Tara confirms that she heard it. Before heading inside, Rob tells the top 6 from the challenge, which will henceforth be known as the Dagger 6, this will be a thing, that he won the dagger, and they make a pact to keep it a secret. When they get inside, Steven tells the other faithfuls that they made this pact to keep the secret, which if I were in the other group would annoy me so much. Johnny fills Steven in that they're planning to vote Natalie out. Why tell Steven anything when he just told you he made a 6-person alliance to keep secrets from you? Beats me. But Steven, of course, tells Rob about the Natalie plan. Rob is so annoyed and tells us that Candace cooked this all up. Candace did not cook this all up, by the way. So we head to this round table with a split castle, with Rob very stressed and fearful about going against the housewives. Lisa has her jacket off. She's coming into this looking like Tomb Raider. Natalie tells us angry Natalie's about to show up and that's the best performing version of herself. Lisa gets the conversation started, telling Natalie that she and Tara witnessed Natalie saying the dreadful we. Tara confirms that she heard it. Natalie doesn't remember and tells Lisa that she's only trying to come for Natalie to prevent herself from going home, which does clock Lisa's tea. Johnny also comes for Natalie, saying she fought hard for the antidote to performatively prove that she was a faithful. Colton again brings up that Jam Jam accused Lisa of kissing and murdering him. Candace again defends Lisa, saying Jam Jam lies about things and fake cries. Dorinda also tries to help Lisa, saying Lisa air kisses everyone and it would be weird if Lisa kissed Jam Jam right on his beard. Mora is annoyed with Dorinda for this. Mora says she saw Lisa kiss Jam Jam. Rob chimes in to defend Natalie, saying Natalie wouldn't have made such a big scene if she was a traitor, and they should trust the word of Jam Jam as a confirmed faithful, saying Lisa only defends herself by saying she doesn't know and doesn't remember. Before they vote, Alan asks if the dagger holder wants to use it. Rob tells us he's saving it for a time when he's in danger, so they get to voting. Natalie gets 2 votes from Tara and Lisa. The housewives don't want to vote for each other, so Dorinda voted for Moria. Candace announces she has a throwaway vote and votes for Rob, and the rest of the votes, including Rob, are for Lisa. So Lisa is banished, standing before the group, getting emotional and revealing her role as the most iconic, legendary traitor. The group loses it as Lisa struts away. Lisa has one final confessional telling us the ending of Housewives was hard for her, and she's grateful for another opportunity. So we lose Lisa here, who I was so happy to see on this cast. I wanted her to be a traitor, and she was picked. For the most part, we got what we paid for. She was reactive, silly, gave great confessionals, had some of the best looks, and she was interested in the game, which made me happy. Was she very good at the game? Not really. Her vote for Portia in the first round was the first, maybe biggest mistake, though I think it's a bit unfair that the housewives or the gamers have to stay loyal to each other at risk of being suspicious. If the traitors had decided who would wear the amulet after they knew how much sus was on Lisa, maybe they would have chosen someone else to do it, but with so much heat on her, the players came into that banquet hyper aware of everything she did. And no matter who was killed, they were going to find a way to blame Lisa. And Rob was right. When Lisa's accused, she does just say, I don't remember and I don't know. She had so much ammo to go against Colton for threatening her and holding her hostage that she just never brought up to anyone, which was a missed opportunity to save herself. So ultimately, her inability to defend herself left her piling up votes, leading to her inevitable banishment. But I'm going to miss Lisa. She's a delight. Following Lisa's banishment, Rob is pissed at Candace for voting for him. Candace tells us that Rob is up to buffoonery worry, and it will have consequences for him. Colton is so smug after catching a traitor. He tells Johnny that he's been playing the game hard, and he's already on to catching another traitor. He tells Johnny his next target is Steven. Johnny tells us that Colton was the one pushing Lisa's name, so Johnny thinks Colton's a traitor. Colton, who does not stop, then goes to the kitchen and tells Rob and Maura that Candace was going out of her way to defend Lisa. Elsewhere, Johnny and Candace agree that Colton and Rob have been working in lockstep, which is traitorous and dangerous. We end the night with Rob and Candace going to the turret for what will be a very interesting interaction that we won't see until next week. So that ends my recap portion. My thoughts on the episode. Alan had hyped up that this would be the best episode of the show so far. I had high hopes, but found it pretty underwhelming. The banquet had so much potential. There was suspense. Why were those tarot cards laid out? As a viewer, I was waiting for something to happen with the cards. The antidote was a cool twist. Did there need to be two? At that point, do you not want the murder to happen? Wouldn't the show want a murder to happen so they could do something dramatic? And then when Jam Jam was killed, it was a lame death, dragged out by the guards. You can't compare that to the slow drag of Ekansu's funeral. I think me and the producers need to have a little talk. So the banquet was weak. And then the challenge was also the worst one of the season so far. This was a straight up physical challenge. It was a foot race with a heavy lifting and throwing. The housewives had no chance. The top six were just the six most athletic people in the game, and those six formed this pact about the dagger, which I think is bad for all of them, given that they're all keeping a secret about it and why. To protect Rob and his extra vote. I get if they were keeping a shield secret, they would want to keep the traitors guessing, but there's seriously no benefit in lying about this for any of them except Rob. Interesting episode from Rob. I could see where he's coming from. Lisa was a sinking ship, and it would look bad to defend her, but he's doing way too much. Not just not defending her, but coming for her. The positive is he's seen as a faithful, and now he's led the charge on a traitor. The downside is Candace. Candace is pissed, rightfully so. She's watching him do this to Lisa, and he could easily do it to her too. If he gets Candace out, he can recruit anyone and run the castle. He should try to get Candace out. So Candace says screw it and throws a vote at Rob. The Candace-Rob war has officially begun, and it's bad for them both. In this corner, we have Rob, who has Colton, Maura, and the alliance of people who are good at challenges that the show never brings up, but all of the players who leave say are an alliance, including Natalie and Eric. In the other corner, we have Candace, who's got Dorinda, I think Johnny and Tara too, and Steven, Mark, and Kristen floating in the middle, who I have no idea what they're thinking, but if the traitors have to agree on a murder, it's probably one of those three. My prediction would be Kristen. After all this, for the first time this season, I think the faithful are winning by a hair. But let's ask the audience, what do you think about the episode, Jam Jam's murder, Lisa's banishment, and the new traitor war? Who do you think will be out next? And reply to my pinned comment. As of now, who's winning, the traitors or the faithful? If you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be back next week with more traitors. Until then, you know where to find me. Bye.